Well, as many of you know, the high school sports season has been canceled, and that means a lot of the student athletes are having to find other ways to train and do some other things here in this spring season. But that doesn't stop a lot of players from a chance to sign, to play, or run in the collegiate level. And Erica Barker is the next one to do so. And I think they're well represented by the Sycamores. You guys all ready to go, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, first off, if you don't mind, Erica, talk a little bit about why Indiana State, and I know you're looking forward to getting things underway in college.
Yeah, so definitely before I chose Indiana State, I wanted to make sure the college I was going to wasn't just because I was able to perform there athletically. I wanted to really make sure that I meshed well there academically, and it was going to progress me farther once I graduated from college. And it came down to Ball State or Indiana State, and I knew they both have excellent academic programs for what I was pursuing. And so then after I realized, okay, I'm going to be good there, even if I can't run like academically, it's well for me. So then I could look at the athletic side, and Indiana State, I really liked the team there, the other girls, the coaches, they really looked out for me other than my athletic ability. They like my family, and I felt like they would take care of me no matter what.
So you have visited and you like the campus and everything about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Talk a bit of what was the most thing that you liked about it. I know there, as you said, between it and Ball State, which would be closer to home, but there must have been something more about Indiana State then.
Yeah, really with Indiana State. So I am going to be majoring in communication, and I wasn't exactly sure what Indiana State's communication program looked like. And so when I went on my official visit there, we got to talk with like the program director and all the people involved. And I really realized that these people care about what I'm going to be doing academically, and they want to see me succeed.
So when you mean communications, we must be talking about sometime down the road, TV, radio, something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
There you go. Very good. Mom and Dad, you have to be proud. I know this is not the first one that you'll be sending on to run at the next level, but just your perspective of now your daughter going to Indiana State.
We're extremely excited and very, very proud of Erica. When she made the decision that she wanted to run in college, obviously we supported that decision 100%. So we're just super excited. We wanted it to be a decision that she felt comfortable with. As you said, obviously Ball State would have been a little closer to home, but we're just glad that she's in the state and it's within a day's drive.
Yeah. Hey, it's kind of hard to believe though that and I know they didn't get a chance to finish out their senior year, but that the 4 years are by and now you're thinking about next year already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we're really excited. I mean, as most everybody knows, our daughter Jenna runs at IU, and IU and Indiana State, especially in cross country, run a lot of the same meets and in indoor track as well. So we're really excited for that, looking forward to being able to watch both of our girls run at the same event.
Hey, before we talk with John and Trent here in a moment, is your sister giving you a little bit of advice about what it takes to run at the next level? As you probably know by now, they're bigger, stronger, faster, and the training's different, college is different. What did she say?
Yeah, she's definitely given me advice, and I've definitely looked up to her for that, just telling me. At first she told me, you don't feel like you have to do this. And when I told her, I really wanted to, she said, okay, that's great. You just have to stay with it. Sometimes it gets really hard, but you just have to know, like, this is what you love doing at the end of it and to not let anything else get in the way.
John, talk a little bit about this young lady and certainly what she has meant to the program and such, and their development over the last couple of years and now taking it to the next level.
I think for our school, as the principal at Seton Catholic High School, where watching Erica, where she's come along, she struggled through injuries for a couple of years, and was really down on herself. And to see her persevere through those and to really come out of that and taking it to the next level, I mean, that's, for being a small school, that's pretty awesome. And to see Todd and them on the program, it continues to show that the success is there. And Erica's just another fine example of what you can do when you put your mind to it and keep working hard.
You know what I also find amazing, and Trent, you can talk about this as well if you both would, that for a small school as small as Seton is, every year you develop Division I athletes that keep coming out year after year. If you wouldn't mind addressing that, it does show that you don't have to go to a big high school to make an impact at the next level.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, we've put forth, quite a few now Division I athletes, and several in the past few years, and now two from the same family.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see that we've got sisters that have done it, and not only just Division I athletes, but really good kids and good student athletes that are doing it, and it's a testament to their hard work. Great kids that are doing it and doing it at a high level. And proving that you don't have to go to a big school to do it. I think to speak to Erica's work ethic, to persevere, like John said, through injuries, she was the only girl on the cross country team this year. Says a lot about her character, just to say, I'm going to do it. I don't care if I've got a team with me. So it was her and two other guys this year to go out there every meet and compete. And she was an outstanding competitor, and just a small team, and know that she was going to be by herself doing it, but to compete at such a high level speaks a lot to her character, a lot to her work ethic. And she got a Division I scholarship out of it. So it speaks a lot to her character and work ethic. She did it in track too, small team, but she went out there and competed at such a high level and had a lot of success. And she does it in the classroom too. And she's a complete student athlete. We couldn't be more proud of her.
Well, as we say, John, it is student athlete, not athlete student. And you have to be proud as a high school to know that she's able to do this too and be a great student athlete.
Yes, definitely. And that's the biggest thing we push in the beginning is student first and athlete second. And she's excelled at both so well. I believe she's number 3 in her class, within just hundreds of a point as far as being, in the top 2, and just really pushed it. And, and I laugh because I remember the year that she had a boot on her foot and she wore that around quite a bit. But to see her continue to go through all those things, and academically she pushed herself and was great in the classroom, is a great example for other students as well. So.
Hey, before we get back to Erica, if I may, Trent, you've watched her and her development. What have you seen in her as an athlete? And just, again, coming off the injuries and staying with it, and you've watched her run, what makes her special?
I just think it's, especially watching her compete in track, I think it's just her competitiveness has been the biggest thing as far as her improvement. You start to see some of the times drop, but you see the competitor in her come out. Has been the thing that's kind of stood out to me. And just, I think that's going to translate to see that work ethic at the next level, because she knows from Jenna, and probably what Jenna's talked to her about. It's going to be a whole different ballgame at the next level, but to see her being able to compete, I think that competitiveness, that drive that she kind of kicked in towards the end of her career, I think that's going to translate. I really wish we could have seen it this spring, and that's the really unfortunate thing about what happened. She didn't get a senior track season, but I think it's going to carry over, and thankfully for Erica, she's going to have a college career as well. So.
How difficult has this been? And I certainly like Mom and Dad to jump in on this too, to know that for all the student athletes that did not get to finish out their senior year, and for you, Erica, with no track, I know it's kind of strange to even think about it because I don't remember this ever happening in the time I've covered sports, but for you, how tough has this been?
Yeah, definitely something I wasn't expecting. I had really big goals for myself this season, and I was really crushed when I realized that I wasn't able to go for those. Even like next year I can, because I will be in the collegiate level, but really helped reaching out to my other classmates who had the same thing happen to them, and we bonded over it, and so I think that's really helped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You talk about Erica's progression, and as father and coach, I got to see the best of both worlds. And I think the thing that really jumped out to me is her confidence level. Going from her junior year in track to her senior year in cross country. And then over the winter even, it's made a huge jump in confidence level. For example, last year, she had run the mile on track, but a 5:37 won the mile. And she went out this winter without a lot of training, ran a 5:32.
Wow.
And it's like almost a 30-second PR for her. It's just that confidence level. And that's without speed work and training. So she's really looking forward to doubling up in the mile and the 800 which she won last year. But she has a confidence level that renews the work ethic in her. And you talked earlier, Trent and John, about the academic side. I mean, she's over a 4.0 student. And so it takes a special person to mix both of those, training and the academic side. So we're very proud of her as coach and a father for that.
Well, and that's always a tough area of being a coach and a dad too, as you probably know. I mean, you've done this before, so there's always that fine line, isn't there?
Absolutely. But there's also a big advantage of it's not just the training part, but I can keep reminding her, and I do with Jenna as well. I can go in at night before the bed, and this is what you need to think about for tomorrow. You don't get that with every athlete you coach, but with those two, I could. And it's a huge difference as well.
When you go back to the injury, Erica, how much again, as your dad said, that you haven't shown a whole lot of signs of that bothering you now, but how frustrating was that you had to come back from that and then kind of do it all over again?
Yes, so I was injured my freshman and sophomore year of cross country, and as they mentioned, I have been the only girl on the team for my junior and senior year. So the 2 years that I was injured were the years that I had a team. And I think, injury aside, of course, I was devastated about that. But what really got me is knowing in the next 2 years or the next year that I wasn't going to have this team. And while I had it, I wasn't able to compete with them. But they were really open, and they still let me, they included me on everything still, even if I couldn't run. We had team bonding nights, we went to movies, and so that really helped me. And then coming back from my injuries, just knowing I have to come back bigger than my setback was. And that's what I would tell myself. I had a large setback, but I can come back bigger than that.
Yeah. Hey, so what's next? Have you been able to, even without the teammates and everything and being by yourself, which training-wise probably is, I know your dad probably runs with you and such, but you did all this on your own. So what do you do between now and the time that you head to Indiana State?
Yes, so as of now, I am doing Indiana State workouts. The coach has reached out and I'm allowed to do that. I have been running a little bit by myself. We have a really good local running group here within the county, and they're super open about running with people. And that's really nice. Whenever I want to, I have a list of over 10 people that I can call and be, hey, do you want to do this workout with me? And so really just going based off of what my coaches send me from now on.
Hey, I if I may, and Mom, I want you to chime in on this about getting ready for college. And you already have one child there, and I've had a couple go through it as well. It is a little different world out there when you're on your own. Is Erica ready to go and ready for college life?
Oh, Erica's absolutely ready to go. Both of our girls are very independent. Yeah, sometimes that's kind of side. It's like, oh, they're too good. They're ready to go. They've been house sitting and doing a lot of that for a number of years, so I have no worries about Erica leaving. And one thing that I would say, she's talked about, and Trent talked about being the only person on her team for the last couple years. I think that's something that the schools that were recruiting her looked at, and the same thing with the COVID-19 right now. Obviously, it's a huge disappointment, no season, but I said, Erica, those things are only going to make you stronger. And the same thing that we said when she was the only girl running on the team. I said, these schools are going to look at you and they're going to admire that persistence that you have. And the schools that she did take her official visits, those are things that they ask about, how was that? And I think they saw the dedication in her. So her leaving for school, obviously we're going to miss her and that, but I have no worries that she's going to do fine.
And one thing
go ahead.
the schools also see is the upside. They know that she's coming off an injury, and you see the progression over times and how much quicker she's getting, and they know that she's going to keep going. So her glass ceiling is very high right now, and she can bust right through that.
Hey, and if I may, training by yourself, when you have to do it by yourself, that's not easy because you have to be a self-motivator, don't you?
Yes, yeah. It hasn't been the easiest thing, but like it's been mentioned, I was the only girl, but I did have the guys to lean on. This past season, I had 2 freshman boys, and at the time when I started, I didn't think it was the most ideal situation. But no, I grew to really like running with those boys, and they encouraged me both of my seasons I was alone.
Yeah, for two schools.
It
Yes.
put a new label to the name Team Mom for Erica.
Hey,
Yes.
John and Trent, if you don't mind, this is unusual territory we're in without sports here at the end of the year, but hopefully it'll be over with here pretty soon. As you guys look to next year, what do you see? And again, I know there are some doubts whether maybe we'll get into the fall season if this doesn't clear pretty soon. What do you see happening?
I mean, hopefully we return to normal. But I mean, honestly, who knows? Who knows? I mean, we're kind of at the mercy of CDC, health departments, and all that type of stuff. I mean, so and the IHSA, I mean, they're dependent on, all those organizations as well. But, hopefully we return back to normal. We're planning on returning back to normal, but so hopefully there's a fall sports season. Hopefully, obviously, we're back in school but we're planning on returning back to normal. But there's just a lot of variables that honestly, I don't know. Other ADs don't know. John probably doesn't know. But we're, but I mean, we're living in a virtual world right now, and it's difficult. And we're hopeful for all of our students, all of our student athletes, because I mean, we don't want any of them to, have to go through kind of what we've been through these last few months, or this last month and a half, I guess, at this point. So what probably feels like months to all of them. So and in the bigger picture, just our country, what our nation's going through and what our world's going through at this point with this pandemic. So we're hopeful that just everything returns back to normal, and we pray that it does. So,
Yeah. John?
I'd have to echo what Trent said. It's a day-to-day thing. We want to be back in school as much as anybody else. And I think if you talk to most of the students that we have nowadays, they would actually rather be in the classroom. We talk to them daily, which we never thought we'd hear. But yeah, we're planning on being back in the fall, just like as normal. But again, it's a day-by-day. We take it. We have to follow the guidelines of the state, CDC, the government, and kind of do what's best for our society, not necessarily and be selfish for what we want. So it's a day-by-day.
And as far as graduation such, will Erica get a chance to walk with her class at all? What's going to happen there?
We're working on that. That's our main goal, is to make sure that we do have a graduation. I think that's such a great milestone for students, especially seniors. So that's our main goal, is to make sure that we have a graduation and that we do it within a timely fashion. And we don't want to, some colleges are now pushing their graduation to December. We want to be able to do it sooner than later. And but yes, that's our goal, is to get that graduation to happen for these kids, so we can celebrate what they've done as student athletes, and the next stages of their lives.
All right. Finally, Erica, you're going to meet up with Jenna eventually. You guys aren't that far apart, cross-country, regionally. When you guys get together, is there going to be some smack talk going on? You guys going to jaw at each other when you start running? What's going to happen?
I don't think so. We've never been super competitive in that aspect of life, so I think we'll only encourage each other.
Okay. Well, you should maybe a little dig now and then. I mean, it's Indiana State, Indiana,
I don't know. Maybe just some tough talk here and there, but.
There you go. Well, congratulations. I know you have a lot of support here and a loving family that certainly is behind you as well. And you can see with your athletic director and your principal there as well. They're all wishing you well. We wish you well as you move on, and hope you get a chance to graduate with your class too. Okay. And thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.